welcome to the RSBC Unseen podcast. My name's Juliet and I work here at RSBC. Today we're going to be talking about some travel apps that we use to navigate around, and I've got three people joining me today. I've got Alex, who works here with me at RSBC, and I've got Rufus and Kaya, who are two of our young people. Guys, do you want to talk a little bit about how you access your devices? Primarily we're going to be looking at phones today, really, for our travel apps, because it's usually we're out and about. So Ali Pally, how do you access your phone?
So I use VoiceOver and sometimes some larger text as well, like inverted colours, some visual stuff, but mainly VoiceOver. And I use it all around London and beyond London as well. I've used it all around the world when I travel to America and even Asia.
Ooh, get you jet setter. Kaya, how about you? How do you access your phone?
So I mainly use a screen magnifier, and I use VoiceOver every now and then. This to help me travel again all around the world, really.
God, I need to go on holiday. Rufus, what about you?
So I'm a full-time VoiceOver user again. I kind of use it to when I'm out and about, like riding around London.
Cracking. I too am a full-time VoiceOver user. So we're going to be talking about three apps today: Good Maps Outdoors, Railboard, and Soundscape. And we've got some sort of criteria we're going to review them against. So we'll be talking about the accessibility for each app. So how does it work with speech software, with enlarged font, magnifiers, and maybe high contrast, things like that. And then we'll be looking at the reliability. Is it always accessible? Does it glitch? Does it break? Is the information up to date? We'll be looking at usefulness as well. Do you use it a lot? Is it something about it that like makes you bother or not bother with it? And then we'll be thinking if there's any fun, notable features that it has or that we would like it to have. So, should we jump straight in, everybody? Starting with Good Maps Outdoors. Alex, give us a bit of an overview.
So Good Maps Outdoors is a turn-by-turn based app, which means it's a bit like a sat-nav in a car, but on foot. So it will tell you to turn left, a street, or turn right. And it's very similar to apps like Google Maps and Apple Maps, which we'll probably talk about a bit later on as well.
Cool beans. So, should we dive straight in and talk about the accessibility of Good Maps? So, Kaya, from a magnification standpoint, how did you find it?
So from a magnification, using a screen magnifier, I found it that it wasn't very accessible at all, actually. I opened the app and I had no idea what was going on, because also like with the menu, like at the bottom of the screen, it doesn't actually tell you what each button does or anything like that. It doesn't have like words underneath each of the sections, so I found that really difficult. So then I decided to turn on a VoiceOver, and it was much more accessible for that.
So it was labelled correctly, but visually it was difficult to see. Physically.
Yeah, very.
I think that's common with a lot of apps. I used to be a magnification large font girly, and I used to find some apps was just so impossible. Like you can't get everything on screen. It's very confusing. So yeah, I feel your pain, Kaya.
That's quite funny actually. As a blind user, I didn't know that the settings icon is a hamburger. I was like, why is that a hamburger? it's weird like that.
Why is it a hamburger?
I don't know.
Rufus, how did you find Good Maps Outdoors?
I love it. I've been using it for about 8 years. I think it's really good with speech. Like Alex says, it's turn by turn. It will also tell you where you are. It also tells you what's around you as well. So if you're going past a shop, then it will say, I don't know, like Superdrug on the left and Sainsbury's just ahead at like 2 o'clock. So it does like sometimes like the sort of a face of a clock sort of thing.
That's
I think
cool.
that's the great thing about this app is that it's built for blind people, right? So a lot of the instructions are very detailed instead of like turn east or whatever. It's like, where's east?
To be fair, I think most of them are doing that now, aren't they? The whole turn right, turn left. They're not doing the. I mean, I've heard Good Maps do the sort of walk north.
The clock thing as well. That's useful.
Also, like compared to other maps like Google Maps, when you first start your route, it's so difficult to actually find your location on the spot, like which direction you're facing.
Yeah.
And I found this app was so much, more helpful from that point of view.
Ooh, I have not tried it. So do you find it good for like routes that you either don't know or are less familiar with?
Yeah, generally. So I I mean, sometimes I'll do it on a route. I don't like to put it on route mode if I'm walking a route that I know, sort of thing, because often I'll have been taught a route and it will think it wants me to go one way. But I do often use it, like back when I lived with mum and dad. Then I used to walk back, like our then local station was with about sort of 5-10 minutes walk of our house. And there was a bus that you could take to get to the station from our house, but sometimes it wasn't. You'd be waiting for a while. So I used to walk sometimes back from the station, and I would use it then because there were you walk down, you're generally going down like residential roads for the whole thing, so there's not really any traffic noise.
Nice. And I guess, Rufus, this mainly is aimed at you as the long time user. Is it always reliable? Do you find, does it glitch or anything? Or is it like usually pretty solid?
It doesn't generally play up. I mean, in that sense it's pretty good, but in the other sense it's about as good as any GPS app's going to be, so it's never going to be 100% brilliant. And the problem is that because obviously when you're walking, if you're anything like I am, then I keep my phone in my pocket and I put a pair of AirPods in, so I can use the phone just by putting my hand in my pocket. But then also what that does mean is, I mean, that could be because the phone's in the pocket or just because the GPS is playing up, it won't always get the directions 100%, so it might say something's on the right when it's on the left, sort of thing.
I have heard that. I've heard that,
so
and
it
it is
does
a bit
do
of a
that.
thing.
It's because your phone's not pointing in front of you.
No,
so
they want
Yeah.
your phone
Yeah.
pointing like out at chest height. It's like, yes, but I don't want to get mugged.
Well, exactly. Like,
And it's like you have to get it like at the right angle as well sometimes.
yeah,
and it
and
just,
the thing is, like, if you're walking around, especially, well, anywhere really, but especially London, you don't want to be doing that because there
No.
are so many people on bikes that will come up and they will take your phone, and if you've
Yeah.
got it unlocked, and I didn't realise this until quite recently, I always sort of thought if they took your phone they'd sell it on and get a few grand for it, but they can actually, and they will,
Drain your.
get into your phone and basically get your contact details.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know.
So, what about usefulness? So, clearly you use this a lot. You've been using it a long time. Kaya, would you use this app like a little bit more regularly? I
yeah,
know
no, definitely. I think it's very helpful. I like the fact that it tells you what's coming up, you know, on your left and right. So, you know, when you're in like a town centre, I think it's really helpful.
Yeah.
What about you, Ali Pally?
So I think I still need more time with it. I grew up with Apple Maps, but I've been using Apple Maps for probably the same amount of years as Rufus using Good Maps. It's sort of like stuck, and it's really difficult to change.
Sometimes
But,
you're just like,
yeah.
I know this, I'm going to stick
Yeah,
with it.
yeah,
comfortable.
definitely.
you do,
But it does
you do
sound good.
kind
But
of-
if it's, you know, if I use it more, maybe I'll start replacing. I mean, I already replaced one of the apps, which is the train one, which we'll talk about later on. So I'm easily swayed.
Clearly.
Yeah. So, any particularly notable features about Good Maps? I like what you guys were all saying about the clock face. That is like key in the blind world.
Yes.
even though I find it really confusing.
Oh,
I have
is
to
it-
remember the
I
clock
find it really
face.
Is it useful anymore? Because I think kids
So with our
nowadays-
digital watches.
Yeah, with your
Yeah.
digital watches,
Yeah.
you don't even know what a clock looks
I
like.
don't know.
I
I sort of
mean,
forget as well.
It's not the most useful, but it's better than when it says walk north or walk
Yeah,
east.
right.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what I
Yeah,
really get
I'm like,
confused.
sorry,
I'm
have I
like,
got
okay
an
then.
internal compass?
Yeah, no,
No.
definitely.
You guys are too young.
And it's quite good for, like, I guess if you're already facing something, it's like 12 o'clock from where you are. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's relative to you.
Yeah.
I think
That's cool.
it definitely takes time to get used to, because when you hear it, when you first use the app, you're like, what's going on here?
Can you all rate that out of 10? So 10 is good, 1 is rubbish. Set it on fire, throw it away, delete it from the internet.
I'll give it an 8, I think.
Nice.
Just because, well, two things. First things first, obviously, it's GPS, so you can't trust it 100% to get you where you want to go. The other thing I wish it would do, which Soundscape does this, which we'll come to in a minute, but it doesn't tell you when you get near an intersection. It just says turn left, turn right. And obviously, when you've got two crossings next to each other, so like at my now local station, then you have like a little car park that you've got, like a little side road that you've got to go across, so you just walk straight across that. But then you've got two island crossings right next to each other. One of them takes you towards Costa, the other one takes you to the station. And it doesn't tell you that there's a crossing, it just says you've got to make a turn in. And it would be good if it did that, just because then you kind of, I mean, okay, you kind of know anyway, if you know what direction you're walking in and you know that, to the right there's traffic and it's telling me to turn right, so at some point I'm probably going to have to cross the street. But it doesn't actually warn you that you're getting near to one, so you just kind of walk in straight forward with your cane until you actually find it.
Kaya, how about you? What would you give out of 10?
I would say a 5, because if I hadn't had the idea of using VoiceOver, I literally wouldn't be able to use the app whatsoever, because just using like a screen reader, it doesn't really work at all.
Yeah, very fair.
That's interesting.
What about you, Alex?
7. Oh, I mean, it works really well for me. It's just certain things that I like about Apple Maps.
So now we're going to talk about Soundscape, which is another sort of navigation app, but it's a little bit different to Good Maps. Alex, tell us about it.
Right, so Soundscape, it's a app that shows you certain hotspots around you, so shops and stations and things like that. That's interesting, parks. But then what's interesting is that you can make your own hotspots as well. So if you have a location that's not mapped out, you can set one, for example, your home or whatever, or a certain spot in the road.
And something it does as well is you are supposed to use it with headphones in.
Yes.
And it does it in like surround sound, so it will read you the road name of something, and if it's on your left, it won't say on your left, it will just put
You'll
it in
just
your
go in
left
the
ear.
Yeah.
So that's what you need, is you actually need
You do need
headphones.
headphones. You can use it without,
Yeah, it's not
but
a good
if you
experience.
Again, you're holding your phone
if
out,
yeah,
Yeah.
and you're not getting the point of it, and you can tell this is the one that I've actually used. So yeah,
So it's like
I might even rate it.
3D audio mapping.
Yeah, like surround
technology,
sound.
Yeah. So very
Um,
immersive and everything.
So let's talk accessibility. How did we find it access-wise, Rufus? What about you?
I thought it was pretty decent actually. I mean, I like that it, again, we were talking about obviously Good Maps doesn't alert you when you're getting near a crossing. This one will, which I did quite like. I didn't think it would be about quite as good as like planning a route on Good Maps, as Good Maps is even. But I did like that it would, you press a button there, it had separate buttons for where are you, what's in front, what's behind, what's to the left, what's to the right sort of thing. And again, it like the surround sound feature was pretty cool as well.
Yeah,
I think the only thing that I would say is, again, it's GPS, so it's not going to be 100% correct. But it was, I mean, I was walking with it this morning when I got off the bus outside the station. I was walking with it, and it was
Outside this station.
no, outside Forest Hill.
Right.
And then I took it for a walk into work the other day. Then I was walking along and I had it going, and it was pretty decent.
It's good for exploration.
Yeah.
I think it won't. It's not one where you can input a route. It is more just. So I used to use it. I don't use it loads now, but I used to use it when I moved, and I had learned my couple of routes to like the bus stops and the station, but I wasn't fully confident with them yet, because I liked it telling me the road name, so I knew I was on the right track.
Yeah.
So it's good for that. Or if I've used it for what you've used Good Maps for, Roo, where I've been on a bus and it's gone quiet and I've stuck it on so I know where I am.
Yeah.
So it's good for that as well. I mean, I'd probably use Good Maps if I ever remembered to. It's just because it's one of the ones that's like on my home screen.
You can also share different routes, can't you? So if you had
I noticed that.
if you had a route that you already mapped out.
What, on Soundscape?
Yeah.
Oh, I
and
didn't know that.
Maybe not Soundscape, but Voice Vista, but they're just similar.
I
things.
thought they were the same thing.
There's two different developers.
'Cause I know that they-
Functionally quite similar.
Yeah.
Because I similar to the Good Maps, I found this app didn't work very well with like screen magnifier, so I had to use use VoiceOver instead, which was good. But like when I was using it and I had my headphones on, I found the sound beacons really confusing.
I think for someone who doesn't use speech software, it's completely different because there's no visual maps.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
There are more buttons, right?
I think the problem
Yeah.
is all of these apps that we're going, well, certainly the first two, they're designed kind of with blind people in mind. So if you don't use speech software,
That's the
then
problem.
they're always going to be a little bit alien because you're not used to having that sort of input.
Yeah, exactly.
Does anyone else kind of get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I do, yeah, because Soundscape is for someone with little to no vision, I would say. There is a speech user. I know some people that use Soundscape and something like a turn-by-turn map
Yeah,
at the
I've
same
heard
time.
of people doing that. I have
right.
heard of that happening. But
Yeah.
then my thing then is, you can... I mean, I suppose again, like what I was saying about the crossing points. Part of me thinks, well, you can do that on Good Maps Outdoors, where you've literally just got one app running, and you've got a route on one tab, and you've got your location on another. But then actually, I suppose if you're being told a route off, say, Good Maps or Apple Maps or whatever, and then you've got everything else just being told, oh, this is where that is, and it's there, whatever sort of thing, on Soundscape. I haven't actually managed to try that yet, but maybe one of these days I'll give that a go.
Like you guys said, it's for exploration, right? So it's good to have Good Maps /Apple/Google Maps telling you turn instructions what to do, and then having Voice Vista or Soundscape to just say, oh, you're passing this, you're passing that.
Yeah.
So how did we find it reliability wise? Again, was everything, did it always work? Did it glitch? Was the info correct?
So for me, I did try this out in Hong Kong. When I was dropping those little audio beacons that I mentioned earlier on to map out a route that I wanted to do, because it was a station to downstairs of an apartment, I found most of it was pretty good, but then at one point it didn't know if I wasn't sure if I should go left or right, because the audio wasn't that stark. So it was just like, oh, I'm not sure if that beacon's on my left or on my right.
Yeah, I found the same.
It's more like, oh, in front of me, so, and I know this is turning, so that I can't go through someone else's wall or whatever.
So it's a little bit more fiddly, maybe. You've got to be careful how you input stuff to get what you want out of it.
Yeah.
That's very good to know. And usefulness, would we use it a
Because
lot?
I found, like, when I was using it, I literally had to guess which direction the beacons were, you know, and I was literally just playing a guessing game after a while. I had no idea which way it was, so I found it quite difficult from that point of view.
And I think sometimes when you're navigating, when you can't see that well, you're already having to concentrate quite hard. So it's
Yeah.
like you want something that's going to help you, not put more on your plate to have to pay attention to.
So true, and sometimes you literally just want it to say turn left, turn right, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would say kind of what I said about Good Maps, because it's GPS. You can't 100% trust it. And again, I would notice with Soundscape, not quite as often, probably because my phone was in my pocket, it would tell me something was on the left when it was on the right. But then equally, I suppose my thing is, well, it's actually quite nice in some way to be told what's around you, because at least then, you know, you're getting the same sort of input that any other sighted person would get. Whereas if you're just doing a route, then you're just walking past things. You don't necessarily know what they are. But then equally, if say you're meeting somebody, then it's a lot easier to say to them, oh, can you meet me by the Sainsbury's or you know, outside Burger King? Then can I meet you at like the electric box outside? Like,
Literally.
Or even at like say the station today, because
It's good if you've not got a sighted person or it's not somewhere you know. You could be like, right, what's around me?
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna call my friend. Okay, I'm by this shop or this cafe, and they'll be able to find you.
Yeah, or even like if you ping your location, like somewhere that's not like massive, like a station, it's all right. But if you're at a station, then it will just kind of
it's very complex exits and things like that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
At least with Soundscape or Good Maps, if it gives you a POI, then you at least know that you can either ring somebody and say, oh, I'm outside here, or you can even say to someone, oh, by the way, do you know where, I don't know, Burger King is?
And the fact that it actually gives an actual place, you know, helps a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so we would maybe use this a little bit. What do you think in terms of usefulness? I guess if you already use Good Maps, it's like, does it give you anything that you don't get from that?
I definitely would going forward. Actually, I think it's a good app for exploring. Like I would like to, because like certainly since I've moved, I've always sort of thought about just going for a walk down like the local high street and then just using the app to see where I'm kind of at, and then just kind of getting an idea of what's around, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, I always sort of I've never really got around to doing it because I'm always at work, and then it's like the weekends I just kind of can't be bothered by that point. So
I think a lot of us has recently moved.
I think that's a thing though, like with this app. I'd use it for exploring, but I wouldn't use it like to try and find a place if I'm like in a rush for it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
I generally don't walk anywhere if I'm in a real rush unless I really know the area.
Cool. Any notable features?
So with the Voice Vista, which is still Soundscape anyways, one of the features I really like is that you can control what's being read out to you by pressing your headphones, like if you're playing music. So a single tap will read what's in front of you, double tap on your headphones, like going back a track will read what's around you, and maybe another one will show you where you are, so you don't. It's completely hands-free,
That's really cool.
so you don't need to pull your phone out.
That's super
So that's
cool.
a really cool feature, and the developer's pretty responsive.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a support group on WhatsApp that one of our young people actually, ex-young people, Tony, has created with the developer. So he's always up for feedback and stuff as well.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's Voice
That'll
Vista.
be interesting.
Happy days. Ah, so yeah, Voice Vista, very similar to
I
Soundscape,
need to
though,
give that
though
one a
maybe
try.
slightly better.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll give that one a try. At
Yeah,
some
I
point.
might switch
I'd
over.
always been led to believe that Voice Vista was like the because I know they tried doing away with Soundscape, didn't they, about 3 years ago?
Yeah, they got rid
Yeah.
of it, and then
they
2 companies came back with it.
yeah,
Soundscape,
and I sort of was led to
Scotland,
believe that
Yeah,
Voice
something
Vista
like that.
was the new Soundscape.
Yeah.
So I haven't.
It was, and then Soundscape came back, so then it
Well,
was. But actually,
I don't think it came
sounds
back.
better.
I think someone just came back with a similar name, like.
It was the same app.
Oh yeah.
It was basically the same. I don't
Yeah.
know if they had to recreate it from the
Yeah.
scratch, but
I'll
it
have
was the
to.
same.
I'll have to download
I
that
was
Voice
just saying, I
Vista
might
app and
swap,
take it to
'cause I
work.
did
Took a
have-
little play around.
Rue, was there? I think you were going to say, was there any useful, notable features?
Yeah, I mean, again, I like that it kind of tells you when you're approaching a crossing. I did like that about Soundscape, because that is the one thing that has really done my head in about good maps. It won't do that.
Fair. Kaya, anything on your end, notable features that you liked about it?
I like the fact that I found it fairly easy to use
Hmm.
after I got around the like using it with the voiceover. So
Mhm.
that was good.
It's not always clear what it is. I remember the first time I opened it up, and I was like, right, what's this again?
That's
And then I
literally
sort of-
exactly what I found. When
Yeah.
I opened it, I was like, what is this?
I think I listened to a podcast with other people talking about it, and I was like, oh, and then I kind of got it.
Yeah.
And
That-
it's not
that's
obvious at first.
That's the thing. I actually like searched on YouTube like the app and like how to use it, because I had no idea.
When,
'Cause it's not very clear. That's the thing. Like when you first open it, you think, what is this? Like how do like how to use it? Like because with some other apps, you open it the first time and you know exactly what to do.
Well,
Yeah.
when I first downloaded it, I had to get past about 5 different apps that were like white noise, like sleep apps, and they were all called
Oh!
Soundscape.
Yeah, Soundscape is. I see what they're doing with the name, but it's not ideal.
Yes.
So, shall we rate it out of 10? I'm actually going to rate this one because I've used it.
Mm.
I would give it a. I'd give it a 7. It's pretty good for what I've used it for, but I think Voice Vista sounds better, to be honest.
Yeah. If I'm rating Voice Vista, it will be an 8.
Alright.
Mine would be 5. I find that there are better apps for mapping, like with maps and routes and things like that, which I find it easier to use.
I'm going to give it an 8 just because it's GPS, and you can't like 100% trust it unless you kind of hold your phone out, which I refuse to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Fair
a
enough.
difficult one because it does look like a really good app, and like, again, I don't really know it that well. Like Good Maps, I've been using for years. Like I've been using that since before it was Good Maps, and when it was RNIB Navigator. But Soundscape, I've literally only started using that in the last week. So, but it does look pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. Like it looks alright. Like for like just going around, like just going for a walk around your local area and like seeing what's about.
Happy days.
I think it is also an app that it does take time to get used to.
But I think you're right. Cool.
Cool.
So now we're going to talk about our final app, Railboard. Alex.
Railboard is basically a timetable app that tells you upcoming trains. It also does planning as well. So if you don't know where to go, it will tell you like what train or what line to catch. But most people will use it for checking on timetable. You can also purchase train tickets as well.
All right. Well, I know that Kaya is a big fan of this app. To be honest, I only know about it because of Kaya.
Thank you,
So,
Kyle. I'm using
yeah.
it now because of you.
I downloaded it this morning. I'm going to use it.
I've been using it for a month because of you.
Kaya, talk to us about the accessibility.
So I find this app really accessible. I like the fact that it has good colour contrast, and also it's actually really easy to use. I like the fact that it actually tells you what platform the train's going to be on, and it pretty much tells you everything that a departure board would tell you at a train station, which is not accessible. So
Amazing. Rufus, have you had much of a chance to play around?
So yeah, I used it a couple of days ago for the first time, and it looks really good. Actually, I've always used I've always been a train liner for the last like 6 or 7 years. But I know a lot of people are moving onto it because I know a few people have.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's from a magnification point of view or a speech one, but they're having issues with Trainline playing up on them and whatnot. So a lot of people have moved over to Railboard, and it does look very good.
I'm one of those people. It's too
So
cluttered.
I actually did use it to buy a ticket to spend all the £4 on a ticket to London Bridge that I didn't use, just to see what it would do. And it looks really good. I think what I did like about it is that there was a feature, you don't see this on Trainline, it will show you direct routes only. So you can switch that on, I assume. I didn't actually get a chance to see it in action, but you can actually go a route that is only direct. So if you're one of these people like I am, where you don't like to change trains as often as you have to,
and everything's kind of well labelled and like clear as to where it is for, like in terms of access.
One other thing I like, one of the other features I really like is that you can check your train and then it will show you, like you tap on it and then it will show you all the stops that will be stopping at. So
On the time.
and the times as well. So I find that really helpful.
That's super helpful.
So it's good for if someone's picking you up from the station and you say, "Oh, I'll be on the 12:09 train." So
and it's coming in at this platform as well in case they can come and meet you.
Or even when you're on an overground train and the announcements become out of sync, saying we're arriving at King's Cross and it's a completely different station.
Yes, yeah, that's really helpful.
yeah.
So we've covered kind of like a lot of the criteria: access, good, reliability. I'm guessing the information's usually pretty up to date, pretty reliable.
Talking about reliability, it does actually tell you when trains are delayed as well.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Yeah,
that's
that's really
that
helpful.
info's really up to date.
It uses, I think, TfL or whatever
That's amazing.
API, so it's quite up to date.
I know
I
it's
find
been
it really
production rail.
reliable. It's not. I've been using it for quite a while.
I think we've even covered some notable features like the train times and the platforms. Any other sort of notable features or sort of usefulness that
I was
we
talking
find?
about voiceover support, I think, because Kai uses screen magnifier. As voiceover goes, obviously everything's labelled. There's even voiceover rotor control. When you flick down with the action, so you can pin a certain train, so you can use it a lot.
Yeah.
You can add it
Whoa!
to favourites.
That's
so
well good.
No, it's a brilliant app actually. I think.
So they've actually designed it with accessibility in
Yeah,
mind.
so that's
That makes a change.
It makes a really good change, especially when mainstream apps, because obviously this is not a VI app, but it has all the VI shortcuts and stuff like that for voiceover.
So do we want to give it a rating?
I'll go 9.
All right. Rufus, what about you?
I think it's great, but a lot of the features you got on there, you've also got on Trainline. So I would definitely use it again as like a backup, but because I'm more used to using Trainline, I'm more likely to use that. I suppose if I could get like cheaper tickets off Railboard than I could on Trainline, I'd probably use it.
What about you, Alex?
I think I'd give it a 9 as well. It's a solid app. I like it. It's part of my toolkit now, so it's really good because I use it to check. Because one of my trains I'm on Elizabeth line, which is a nice train, but it takes ages. But if I get to Great Anglia, I can get to Shenfield really quick.
Cool. So I guess we whizzed through Railboard, but I think we're just a bunch of happy Railboard customers. So I'm probably just gonna delete Trainline and start using that proper. So that's all the apps we've got for you today, and we're gonna put links to all of them in the show notes, so you can click on them and go and download them if you want to. I'm certainly gonna be giving Railboard more of a go, and maybe Good Maps Outdoors as well. Thanks, Alex, Rufus, and Kaya for joining me. We will catch you in the next one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.